The last light of her world faded as Zara stepped onto the human ship. Her skin glowed with a soft blue hue in the darkness of the cargo bay. She was the last of the Linari, a species known across the galaxy for their wisdom and ability to sense emotions. Megan Carson watched from the doorway, her brown hair tied back in a messy ponytail. She had found the alien woman hiding among the supply crates during her routine check. The alien looked scared, but also determined. "No one else knows you are here," Megan said, keeping her voice low. "I should report this to the captain, please," Zara whispered. Her voice had a musical quality that made Megan pause. "My world is gone. The Vorax destroyed everything I am." The last Megan hesitated. She knew the protocol for stowaways was clear: report and detain. But something about the alien woman made her reconsider. The sadness in her large, silvery eyes seemed genuine, against her better judgment. Megan brought Zara to her private quarters. It was risky, but she couldn't bring herself to turn in someone who might truly be the last of her kind. Days passed. Zara remained hidden in Megan's room. They talked during off hours. Zara told stories of her homeworld, a planet with 3 moons and oceans that glowed at night. Megan shared tales of Earth, showing pictures of forests and mountains. The ship was headed to Colony 7, a human outpost on the edge of known space. Megan knew she would need to figure out what to do with Zara before they arrived. One night, the ship's alarms blared. Megan rushed to her station as Captain Karen Willis announced they had detected a Vorax scout ship. Everyone knew the Vorax. They were hunters who collected species from across the galaxy, either as trophies or for purposes unknown. Zara trembled when Megan returned to her quarters. "They found me," she said. "They can sense Linari. The Vorax will not stop until they have the last one." Megan made a decision. She went to her friend, Olivia Taylor, the ship's science officer. She trusted Olivia with her life. If anyone would understand, it would be her. When Olivia saw Zara, she gasped, not in fear, but in awe. "I thought the Linari were extinct," she said. "How did you survive?" "The Vorax attacked without warning," Zara explained. "They wanted our genetic material. Our species can bond with others, share memories and emotions. They see us as valuable tools." Captain Willis would never turn her over to the Vorax, Olivia assured them. But they needed to convince her to protect Zara, rather than hand her over to Earth authorities. The Vorax ship grew closer. They sent a message demanding the humans hand over the Linari they were harboring. Captain Willis was confused. She knew nothing about a Linari on board. Megan and Olivia brought Zara to the bridge. The crew stared in amazement. None had seen a Linari before. Their species had mostly kept to themselves, only occasionally trading with humans. "I am the last," Zara announced, her voice clear despite her fear. "If you give me to them, they will extract my genetic material and use it to create weapons. My species has the ability to form emotional bonds across distances. They will use this to control others, Captain." Willis studied the alien woman. She had fought the Vorax before, lost good crew to them. She knew their cruelty. She also knew that harboring the last of a species would put her ship and crew at risk. "I need proof," said the captain. "I cannot risk everyone based on your word. Alone." Zara stepped forward. "May I?" she asked, reaching toward the captain. Willis nodded, uncertain. Zara placed her hand gently on the captain's arm. A soft blue glow spread from her fingers. The captain gasped as emotions and memories flowed between them. She saw the destruction of Zara's world, felt the terror and loss, experienced the beauty of the Linari culture. When Zara pulled away, the captain had tears in her eyes. The Vorax sent another message. They would board by force if necessary. Captain Willis stood straighter. "We do not have what you seek," she responded, looking at her crew, who nodded in agreement. "Turn your ship around or face the consequences." The Vorax commander laughed. "Humans protecting a Linari. You do not know what you possess. We know exactly what we protect." Willis responded. "A person with rights. The last of a magnificent species. You will not have her." The Vorax ship moved closer, preparing to attack. Zara stepped forward again. This time she placed her hands on the control panel. The blue glow spread throughout the ship's systems. The lights flickered. Energy readings spiked, what the Vorax commander demanded. "What are you doing?" "Something my people never did before," Zara responded. "We always used our abilities for peace, for connection. But you left me no choice." The human ship's weapons powered up far beyond their normal capacity. The targeting systems locked on with impossible precision. The Vorax ship retreated hastily, disappearing into hyperspace. Zara collapsed. Megan rushed to her side. "You never told us you could do that," Olivia said, helping Zara to a chair. "We never used our connection for weapons," Zara explained weakly. "But I connected with your ship. I felt its desire to protect its crew. I simply helped it." Captain Willis made a ship-wide announcement. The crew of the Stellar Explorer had just made history. They had saved the last Lenari and stood against the Vorax. They would take Zara to Earth, where she would receive protection. Megan stayed by Zara's side as the alien woman recovered human and alien too, women from worlds light years apart. Yet in Zara's presence, Megan felt understood in a way she never had before. Olivia ran tests to make sure Zara was okay. The alien woman was tired, but otherwise unharmed. Her connection with the ship had drained her energy. "Do all Lenari have this ability?" Olivia asked, fascinated by the alien biology. Zara nodded. "We all can connect, but some are stronger than others. I was trained as a connector one, who helps others join minds during important ceremonies." Megan watched as her friend examined Zara. She felt protective of the alien woman. Something about her vulnerability and strength moved Megan deeply. Captain Willis entered the medical bay. She had made her decision Zara would stay under their protection until they reached Earth. Once there, she would be granted asylum. But what if Earth authorities want to study her? Megan asked, worried. They might treat her like a lab specimen. Willis shook her head. "I have friends in high places," she said. "We will make sure she is treated with dignity." Zara looked at the three human women, gratitude clear in her silvery eyes. "I never expected to find such kindness among humans," she said. "Our peoples had so little contact. We are not all the same," Olivia explained. "Just as your people must have had different types," Zara smiled. "That is true," she admitted. "We had those who wished to explore the stars and those who preferred to stay home. Those who embraced other species and those who feared them." As the ship continued its journey to Earth, Megan spent more time with Zara. The alien woman learned human customs while Megan learned about Lenari culture. Despite their differences, they found many similarities. Both their species valued family. Both created art and music. Both wondered about their place in the universe, but the threat of the Vorax remained. They would not give up easily. Not when they believed Zara was the key to powerful weapons. The crew remained on high alert, watching for any sign of pursuit. One night, as the ship sailed through the darkness of space, Megan found Zara looking out at the stars. "Do you miss your home?" Megan asked gently. "Every moment," Zara replied. "But home is not just a place. It is people, connections, memories. My planet is gone, but perhaps home is something I can find again." Megan touched her arm lightly. "I hope you can find it here with us," Zara turned to her, a small smile on her blue-tinged face. "Perhaps I already have," she said. The Stellar Explorer approached Earth after weeks of travel. Zara grew nervous as the blue planet came into view. She had only heard stories of the human homeworld, a place of incredible diversity, both in landscapes and cultures. Megan noticed her anxiety and tried to reassure her. "You will be safe here." She promised. Captain Willis has already contacted her friends at the Space Defense Council. "They will help us," Zara nodded, but her worry remained. "What if they decide I am too valuable to be free?" she asked. "What if they want to study me like the Vorax?" Megan had no perfect answer, but she squeezed Zara's hand. "I will not let that happen," she said firmly. "I will stay with you." As they prepared for landing, Captain Willis called Megan, Olivia, and Zara to her private quarters. She looked serious, her normally confident expression tinged with concern. There is a problem, she told them. The council is divided. Some members want to offer Zara full protection. Others see her as a potential security. Risk or research subject. Zara's skin dimmed slightly, its blue glow fading with her spirits. This is what I feared. Olivia stepped forward. She had become protective of Zara too. What if we don't go through official channels? She suggested we could take her somewhere safe, hide her until things calm down. The captain shook her head. Too risky, she said. If we are caught harboring an alien without authorization, we could all face serious charges. Megan thought for a moment. What about Dr. Helen Monroe? She asked. She runs that research center in the mountains. She studies alien biology, but she has a reputation for ethics. Willis considered this. I know Helen, she admitted. She might help. But getting Zara to her facility without being detected would be challenging. They formed a plan. The official story would be that they had found no survivors from the Lanari planet. They would land, normally go through standard procedures. Meanwhile, Olivia would create a distraction, allowing Megan to escort Zara to a private shuttle. The plan seemed solid, but as they entered Earth's atmosphere, a message came through. Another Vorax ship had been detected in the solar system. They were following the Explorer. We need to move faster. Willis ordered, everyone prepare for emergency landing protocols. The ship descended toward a remote landing facility away from major cities. Megan helped Zara prepare, disguising her blue skin with makeup and giving her clothes that would hide her unusual features. The alien woman looked almost human except for her silvery eyes. They landed with a jolt rougher than usual as the captain pushed the ship to its limits. The crew scrambled to their positions. Olivia headed to the science lab where she would trigger a small controlled equipment malfunction to draw attention. Megan and Zara waited in Megan's quarters. The plan was to move once the distraction began. The minutes ticked by. Slowly, Zara could sense the emotions of the humans around them. Fear, uncertainty, determination. She reached for Megan's hand, their fingers intertwining. I am putting you all in danger, she whispered. Perhaps I should surrender. Megan shook her head firmly. No, she said. Your people deserve to survive. The galaxy needs the Linari. And she paused. Need you too. Before Zara could respond, alarms began to sound. Olivia had created her distraction. It was time to move. They slipped from the room, keeping to less used corridors. Megan led the way toward the shuttle bay. They were nearly there when they turned a corner and came face to face with two security officers. The men looked surprised. Where are you going? One asked. His eyes narrowed as he looked at Zara. Something about her wasn't quite right. Megan thought quickly. Medical emergency. She lied. Dr. Taylor sent us to get supplies from the shuttle. The men hesitated. The alarm's in the science lab. You should be at your station. I was just heading there, Megan assured them. Just need to drop off. The second officer stepped closer to Zara. Her makeup was beginning to fail, revealing patches of blue skin beneath. Who is this? He demanded. Before Megan could answer, Zara reached out, touching both officers' arms lightly. A soft blue glow passed between them. The men's eyes widened, then glazed slightly. They stepped aside without another word. What did you do? Megan whispered as they hurried past. I shared peace. She explained. I cannot control minds, but I can share feelings. Calm fear, soothe aggression. They will remember only that they let us pass, for a good reason. They reached the shuttle. Megan quickly prepared for launch while Zara watched nervously for any pursuit. The small craft hummed to life, its engines warming, just as they were about to depart. The shuttle bay doors began to close. Someone had discovered their plan. Megan pushed the engines harder, maneuvering the small craft toward the narrowing opening. We won't make it, Zara said, her voice tight with fear. Megan gripped the controls. We will, she insisted. The shuttle scraped through, the gap metal screeching against metal. They burst into open air, leaving the facility behind. Megan set a course for the mountains where Dr. Monroe's research center was located. They flew low, avoiding detection systems. Megan was a skilled pilot navigating. Through valleys and canyons, the mountains loomed ahead, dark and imposing in the evening light. Below them, forests stretched for miles, trees taller than any on Zara's homeworld. The alien woman watched in wonder at Earth's wild beauty, so different from the crystal deserts and glowing oceans of her world. "We are almost there," Megan said, pointing to a cluster of buildings nestled in a valley. It looked peaceful, research domes and living quarters surrounded by gardens. As they approached, a communication came through. "Who is approaching? Identify yourselves." A woman's voice, firm but not threatening. "This is Megan Carson from the Stellar Explorer." Megan responded, "I have someone who needs Dr. Monroe's help." There was a pause, then a landing beacon activated, guiding them to a small pad near the main building. As they touched down, Megan saw a woman waiting. Her gray hair was pulled back in a simple style, her face lined with age but her eyes sharp and alert. "Dr. Monroe," Megan guessed. The woman nodded as they exited the shuttle. Her gaze immediately went to Zara. Even with the disguise, she clearly recognized what she was. "A Linari," she breathed. "We thought your kind were extinct." "We nearly are," Zara confirmed. "I am the last." The doctor led them quickly inside, away from any watching eyes. The facility was warm and welcoming, more like a home than a laboratory. Plants from various worlds grew in special containers. The air smelled of something sweet and herbal. Once they were safely in her office, Dr. Monroe listened as they explained everything. The destruction of Zara's world, the Vorax hunt, the escape from the landing facility. When they finished, she sat back, considering. "I can offer sanctuary," she said finally. "This place is private, funded by independent research grants. The government has limited access here. Relief washed over Megan, but we need to contact Captain Willis. Let her know we are safe." Dr. Monroe nodded. "We can send a secure message," she agreed. "But first, let's get Zara settled. She must be exhausted." She led them to a small apartment within the facility. It had a bedroom, kitchen, and living area, with windows looking out at the forest and mountains beyond. "You can stay here, Zara," the doctor said. "And Megan, you are welcome too if you wish to remain." Megan looked at Zara. "I should stay," she said, "at least until we know you are truly safe." That night, after Zara had fallen asleep, Megan spoke privately with Dr. Monroe. The older woman was curious about the Linari, but respectful. "Will you study?" her Megan asked, worried about her friend's well-being. "Only if she consents," Helen assured her. "My work has always been based on cooperation, not exploitation. I find forced research not only unethical, but ultimately less productive." Megan relaxed slightly. "But what about the authorities? What if they come looking?" Helen smiled slightly. "I have friends too," she said. "People who believe in the rights of all sentient beings, some quite highly placed. The official story is that I am hosting a researcher from one of the outer colonies." As days passed, Zara began to feel safer. She explored the facility, making friends with the other scientists. She shared what she knew of Linari biology and culture while learning about Earth. The blue glow of her skin brightened, reflecting her improving spirits. Megan received a message from Captain Willis. The Vorax ship had been warned away from Earth space by military vessels. They were gone for now, but Willis doubted they had given up. She also reported that the official investigation had accepted their story, that no Linari survivors had been found. Zara and Megan grew closer, their connection deepening beyond friendship. One evening, as they walked through the forest surrounding the facility, Zara stopped beside a small stream. The setting sun turned the water golden. "On my world we had a ceremony," she said softly, "for souls who find each other across the stars. It was rare for Linari to bond with other species, but not unheard of." Megan looked at her, heart beating faster. "What kind of ceremony?" Zara took her hands, a blue glow spreading from her fingers to Megan's. "I can show you," she whispered. The blue glow spread from Zara's hands to Megan, enveloping them both in soft light. Megan felt a gentle presence in her mind, like a whisper asking permission. She nodded, and the connection deepened. Suddenly, she was seeing through Zara's memories. They Crystal cities of the Lenari homeworld, tall spires that caught the light of 3 moons, the glowing oceans that pulsed with bioluminescent life, the ceremonies where hundreds of Lenari joined minds, creating a harmony of thought and emotion. She felt Zara's pain as she watched her world burn, the terror of hiding as the Vorax ships landed, the desperate escape on a small trader vessel that eventually brought her to the human ship. But beyond the memories, she felt something else. Zara's feelings, for her admiration, trust, hope, and something deeper, something like love. When the glow faded, both women had tears in their eyes. Megan reached up, touching Zara's face gently. "I had no idea," she whispered. "That is the gift of my people." Zara said softly, to share what cannot be put into words. Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call from Dr. Monroe. They rushed back to the facility to find the doctor looking worried. She gestured to a communication screen. "Government officials are coming," she explained. "They say it's a routine inspection, but the timing is suspicious." "How soon?" Megan asked. "Tomorrow morning," Helen replied. "We need to decide what to do." They could try to hide Zara, but if the officials brought scanning equipment, they would detect her unique biology. They could run, but where would they go? "I have an idea," Zara said suddenly. "My people can mask their energy signature when necessary. It requires deep meditation, but I might be able to appear human to their scanners." Dr. Monroe looked doubtful. "Would that work?" "I don't know," Zara admitted honestly. "But it is worth trying." They prepared as best they could. Zara spent the night in meditation, focusing on controlling her energy pattern. Megan stayed with her, offering support and comfort. The rest of the facility continued normal operations, preparing for the inspection. Morning came too quickly. 3 government vehicles arrived at the research center. Dr. Monroe greeted the officials with professional courtesy. They were led by a stern woman named Nancy Peters, who claimed to be from the Science Oversight Committee. "We received reports of unusual energy signatures from this area," Ms. Peters explained. "We need to conduct a thorough inspection." "Of course." Dr. Monroe agreed, leading them. Inside, Megan worked at her station, trying to appear calm, while Zara remained in their quarters, focusing on masking her presence. The officials moved through the facility, scanning each room, checking records, interviewing staff when they approached. The living quarters, Megan felt her heart race. "This is where our guest researchers stay," Dr. Monroe explained casually. "Some are resting, so we should be quiet." Ms. Peters nodded, but insisted on scanning each room. When they reached Zara's door, Megan held her breath. The scanner hummed as it passed over the door. Its readings remained steady, showing nothing unusual. They moved on, completing their inspection without discovering Zara. Later, as the government vehicles departed, Dr. Monroe, Megan, and Zara gathered in the doctor's office. "It worked," Megan said, amazed. "You fooled their scanners." Zara looked exhausted, the effort clearly having drained her. "It is not something I can maintain for long," she admitted. "The energy required is substantial." Dr. Monroe looked troubled. "They may return," she warned. "And next time, with better equipment, we need a more permanent solution." The 3 women discussed possibilities. Perhaps Zara could be officially registered as a refugee from one of the outer colonies, her unusual features explained as a rare genetic condition, but that would require documentation that would not withstand deep scrutiny. "What about the truth?" Zara suggested suddenly. "What if we went public? Told humans about the Lenari, about what happened?" The doctor shook her head. "The panic it might cause, the government would certainly take you into custody." "Not if enough people supported her," Megan argued. "If public opinion was on her side, they couldn't just make her disappear." Dr. Monroe considered this. It would be risky, she admitted, but she had contacts in the media. People who might help present Zara's story in a sympathetic light. They decided to prepare Zara, would record her story, the destruction of her world, the Vorax threat, her hopes for finding sanctuary on Earth. They would release it only if necessary, if it seemed Zara was in danger of being captured or harmed. Weeks passed with no further inspections. Life at the research center fell into a routine. Zara worked with Dr. Monroe studying the similarities and differences between human and Lanari biology. Her knowledge helped advance several research projects. Megan divided her time between helping at the facility and exploring Earth with Zara. She showed the alien woman mountains and lakes, forests, and small towns. Each new sight filled Zara with wonder. Their relationship deepened. The bond they shared during the ceremony by the stream grew stronger. Zara taught Megan how to open her mind, allowing them to share thoughts and feelings without words. It was unlike anything Megan had experienced before. An intimacy beyond the physical. One evening, as they watched the sunset from a mountain overlook, Megan asked a question that had been on her mind. "Do you ever regret coming to Earth?" Zara considered this. "I miss my world," she admitted. "But had I not come here, I would never have found you." She took Megan's hand, the familiar blue glow passing between them. And that would have been the greater loss. Their moment of peace was shattered the next day. A message arrived for Dr. Monroe. Her face grew pale as she read it. "What is it?" Megan asked. "A colleague at the Space Defense Council." She explained. "They voted this morning. Alien refugees are to be placed under government supervision for security reasons. The Vorax attacks have made them paranoid. They are sending a team here tomorrow." Zara's skin dimmed with fear. "It is happening just as I feared. We need to release the recording," Megan insisted. "Get public support before they can." "Take her." Dr. Monroe nodded reluctantly, reaching for her communication device. She contacted her media friends explaining the urgency. They agreed to broadcast Zara's story across all networks. Within hours, Zara's face appeared on screens throughout Earth. She spoke of her world, its beauty, and its destruction. She explained the Vorax threat not just to her but potentially to humans as well. She asked not for special treatment, but for the same rights humans would want if they were the last of their kind. The response was immediate. People were moved by her story. Calls and messages flooded government offices demanding protection for the last Lanari. Outside the research facility, crowds gathered. Some carried signs supporting alien rights. Others simply wanted to see the woman from the stars. When the government team arrived the next morning, they found themselves facing hundreds of protesters. The team leader spoke with Dr. Monroe, explaining that their orders had been modified. Zara would not be taken away, but official observers would remain at the facility. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Zara was safe for now. The observers kept their distance, respectful of both the alien woman and the human scientists. The publicity had made it impossible for anyone to harm or exploit her without consequences. Weeks turned to months. Zara's story spread beyond Earth to human colonies. The tale of the last Lanari and the humans who protected her became a symbol of hope in a galaxy often divided by species and politics. Dr. Monroe expanded her research with Zara's help. They discovered that the Lanari ability to form mental connections might be taught to humans with practice. Megan was the first to learn, showing a natural aptitude. Perhaps because of her emotional connection to Zara, one day, a visitor arrived at the facility. A woman named Linda Reeves from the Interstellar Cultural Exchange. She brought surprising news. There were rumors of Lanari survivors on distant worlds, small groups who had fled before the Vorax attack. Zara trembled with hope. "I might not be the last." Efforts began to locate these survivors. Messages were sent to human colonies and trading outposts asking for information. The search would take time, but for the first time Zara had real hope of finding others of her kind. As they waited, Megan and Zara continued to build their life together, their bond growing stronger each day. The blue glow that passed between them when they touched had become familiar, a physical sign of their connection. "You changed everything," Zara told Megan one night as they lay together watching the stars through their bedroom window. "When I came to Earth, I was just trying to survive. Now I am living." Megan smiled, squeezing her hand. "Is that not what your people believed? That life continues through connection?" Zara nodded. "You were listening to my stories." "Every word," Megan assured her. "And I will be here for all the stories yet to come." The Vorax remained a threat, but a distant one. The publicity surrounding Zara had made Earth too difficult a target for now, but both women knew the hunters had not given up. They would return someday for now. Though there was peace, there was hope, and there was love. A human woman, and the last known Lenari finding in each other something neither expected, something that transcended species and worlds, something that might just change the galaxy. 6 months passed since the news about possible Lenari survivors. Zara's hope remained strong, though sometimes dimmed by the lack of concrete information. Linda Reeves from the Interstellar Cultural Exchange visited regularly, bringing updates from her contacts across human space. Dr. Monroe's research continued to advance. The studies of Lenari biology and mental bonding abilities drew interest from scientific communities across Earth. Zara participated willingly, knowing that understanding between species was the best path to acceptance. The government observers remained at the facility but had become almost friends, their initial suspicion replaced by respect and even admiration for the alien woman and her human companions. The head observer, Amy Wilson, often joined Zara and Megan for meals, curious about Lenari culture. One morning Linda arrived looking more excited than usual. She hurried into Dr. Monroe's office where Zara and Megan were reviewing research data. "I have news," she announced, breathlessly. A trading vessel reported contact with individuals matching Lenari description on Nexus Station. Nexus Station was a massive spaceport at the crossroads of several major trade routes. Neutral territory where species from across the galaxy could meet and exchange goods. "Are they certain?" Zara asked, her voice trembling with emotion. It would not be the first false lead they had received. Linda nodded. They described the blue skin, the mental bonding. The captain said they helped repair his ship systems in exchange for transport. They were headed to the Outer Rim. The Outer Rim was the frontier of human space, largely unexplored and sparsely populated. It would be a good place to hide from the Vorax. "We need to go there," Zara said. "Immediately we need to find them." Megan took her hand. "I will go with you," she promised. Dr. Monroe looked concerned. "It could be dangerous," she warned. "The Outer Rim has few regulations, little protection. The Vorax could be waiting." But Linda supported the idea. "I have connections on Nexus Station." She said, "I can arrange safe passage." They began preparations. Dr. Monroe would remain on Earth, continuing her research and providing a secure base should they need to return. Amy Wilson surprised them by offering government credentials that would help them move through human-controlled space. Olivia and Captain Willis were contacted. They agreed to meet at Nexus Station, providing additional support and protection. The Stellar Explorer had been assigned to patrol duty in that sector. A convenient coincidence that Megan suspected was Willis arranging things behind the scenes. 2 weeks later, Zara and Megan boarded a transport ship bound for Nexus Station. They traveled under assumed identities. Zara, disguised as a human researcher with a rare skin condition. Her makeup had improved, hiding her blue glow except in moments of strong emotion. The journey would take nearly a month. The ship was comfortable if not luxurious. They shared a small cabin, with just enough room for a bed and small sitting area. Most days they spent in the common areas talking with other passengers, careful not to reveal Zara's true nature. At night, in the privacy of their cabin, they could be themselves. Zara letting her natural blue glow shine, Megan practicing the mental bonding techniques she had learned. Their connection had grown so strong, they could sense each other's emotions even without touch. The ship made several stops at various stations and colonies. Megan watched as Zara experienced the diversity of human settlements, each one different yet familiar, metal and glass structures filled with people going about their lives. Zara absorbed it all, comparing it to her memories of Lenari cities. At one stop, an elderly woman boarded. She watched Zara with unusual interest, her gaze following the disguised alien around the common areas. Megan noticed and grew concerned. That night she whispered her worries to Zara. "Do you think she knows?" Zara closed, her eyes focusing on the woman. "She can sense something," she confirmed. "There is something different about her energy. Not human. Not entirely." They decided to be more cautious, limiting their time in public areas. but the old woman seemed to appear wherever. They went, always watching, never approaching. 3 days before they would reach Nexus Station, Megan returned to their cabin to find the old woman standing outside their door. She froze, uncertain what to do. The woman smiled kindly. "Do not fear, child," she said, her voice soft with an accent Megan could not place. "I mean no harm to you or your Lenari friend." "How do you know?" Megan demanded, keeping her voice low. The woman touched her temple. "I know many things. The signs are there for those who can read them. May I speak with her?" Megan hesitated, then nodded. She opened the door, letting the woman follow her inside. Zara stood by the window, her disguise removed in the privacy of their room. Her blue skin glowed softly in the cabins. "Dim light," old woman gasped softly. "It has been many years since I saw one of your kind," she said. "Who are you?" Zara asked. "What do you want?" "My name is Eleanor Gray," the woman replied. "I am not entirely human either. My grandmother was Elysian." Megan had heard of the Elysians, an ancient species that had largely integrated with humans centuries ago, their distinct features diluted over generations. "I sensed your energy," the woman continued. "It reminded me of stories my grandmother told, tales of the Lenari and their gifts. Can you help us find others?" Zara asked, hope in her voice. Eleanor looked sad. "I know only rumors, child. But I can tell you this. The ones you seek hide in plain sight. They have learned to disguise themselves as humans. Some may not even know their true nature." "How is that possible?" Megan asked. The woman explained that some Lenari had bonded with humans long ago. When their children were born, they appeared human, but carried Lenari genetics. These descendants might show signs: subtle, glowing skin, in darkness, unusual empathic abilities. They might not know their heritage. "This changes everything," Zara whispered. "If there are descendants, the Lenari are not truly gone." Eleanor nodded. "Many species face extinction but find ways to survive through change, adaptation, even merging with others. The pure Lenari as you knew them may be few, but their essence continues." She left them with this knowledge and a small device. A scanner, she claimed, could detect the subtle energy patterns unique to Lenari genetics. It might help them identify those with Lenari blood. When they finally reached Nexus Station, they were overwhelmed by its size and complexity. Levels upon levels of markets, living quarters, docking bays, and entertainment districts, species from across the galaxy mingled in its corridors. Some familiar to Megan, others completely alien. They checked into a small hotel in the human sector and contacted Linda. Her associate on the station, a woman named Patricia Lee, met them that evening. She confirmed the reports of Lenari sightings. "They were here 2 weeks ago," she said. 3 of them. They helped repair several ships, then purchased passage on a vessel bound for Harmony. Harmony. Colony was one of the furthest human settlements, nearly a month of travel from Nexus. "Even with the fastest ship, we need to find a way there," Megan said. "We're supposed to meet Captain Willis here, but her ship won't arrive for another week." Patricia suggested they use the time to gather more information. Nexus Station was a hub of gossip and news. Perhaps they could learn more about these Lenari, where they came from, where they were going. They spent days exploring the station, using Eleanor's scanner to check for Lenari energy signatures. They found nothing definitive, but several anomalous readings from individuals who appeared human descendants. Perhaps, as Eleanor had suggested, on their 5th day at the station they visited the engineering sector. Rumors suggested the Lenari had spent most of their time there helping with repairs. As they walked through the maze of workshops and parts suppliers, the scanner began to signal. They followed the reading to a small repair shop tucked away in a corner. A sign declared Solace Engineering in simple letters. The shop was clean and organized, tools arranged with precise care. A woman worked at a bench, her back to them. She wore coveralls, her blonde hair tied up in a practical bun. As they entered, she turned. Megan saw nothing unusual about her. She appeared fully human, with fair skin and green eyes, but the scanner pulsed strongly. The woman noticed it, her eyes narrowing. "What is that device?" she asked, her voice calm, but alert. Zara stepped forward, removing the scarf that had been hiding her features. The woman's eyes widened as she saw the blue skin. "You," she whispered. "Are you Linari?" Zara confirmed, "I am Zara of the Crystal City." The woman looked around quickly, then gestured for them to follow her. She led them through the back of the shop to a small living area. She closed and locked the door. "My name is Grace," she said. "I was told others might come someday." She studied Zara closely. "You look like the images my mother showed me." "Are you?" Megan asked, unsure if the scanner is right. Grace smiled slightly. "I am half Linari," she explained. "My father was human. My mother escaped before the destruction." Zara's hands trembled. "Where is she now? Is she alive?" Grace nodded. She and others went to Harmony to establish a colony away from prying eyes. A place where those with Linari blood could live safely. "How many?" Zara asked, hardly daring to hope. "I don't know exactly," Grace admitted. "Dozens, perhaps more, scattered across human space. Most are mixed like me. Few pure Linari remain. Perhaps 20 at most." It was more than Zara had dared hope. Her people had survived. They had found a way. "We need to reach Harmony." Megan said, "Can you help us?" Grace considered this. "The next transport leaves in 3 days." She said finally, "I can secure you passage. My mother would want me to help." The wait for the transport to Harmony Colony seemed endless. Zara could barely contain her excitement and anxiety. The knowledge that other Linari had survived filled her with hope, but also uncertainty. Would they welcome her? What would it be like to be among her own kind again after believing herself to be? The last Megan felt her own mix of emotions, joy for Zara, but also worry. What would this mean for them? Would Zara choose to stay with her people, leaving Megan behind? She tried to push these thoughts away, focusing instead on supporting Zara in this momentous time. They sent messages to their friends. Captain Willis and Olivia would follow once their patrol duties allowed. Dr. Monroe promised to secure additional protection for the Linari community through her government contacts. Linda continued her work, making sure the story of the Linari remained in public awareness. Grace, the half-Linari engineer, became their guide and friend. She shared stories of growing up with a Linari mother, learning to hide her subtle differences from other human children. "I can glow a little," she demonstrated one evening in her darkened apartment, a faint blue luminescence spreading across her skin. Not as bright as a full Linari, but enough to need hiding. She told them of other Linari descendants on Nexus Station, a small community that protected each other. They met several, a doctor, a pilot, a merchant, all appearing human, but carrying the genetic heritage of Zara's people. When the day of departure finally arrived, Grace accompanied them to the docking bay. The transport was a large vessel designed for colonial support runs. It carried supplies, equipment, and occasional passengers to the outer settlements. The journey to Harmony would take 28 days. Megan and Zara were given a small cabin, similar to the one they had shared on the way to Nexus. The ship was utilitarian with few luxuries, but they hardly noticed. Such details seemed unimportant compared to what awaited them. During the long journey, Zara grew quieter, more contemplative. Megan gave her space, understanding her need to process what was happening. One night, as they lay in their narrow bed, Zara finally spoke of her concerns. "What if they have changed?" she whispered. "What if they are no longer truly Linari?" Megan held her close. "They survived," she said. "That is what matters. Their culture can be rebuilt." Zara touched Megan's face, the familiar blue glow passing between them. "Will you stay with me?" she asked, "even among my people?" "Always," Megan promised without hesitation. As the ship approached Harmony Colony, they gathered their few possessions. The captain announced their arrival over the communication system. They would be docking at the orbiting station, then taking a shuttle to the surface. The colony came into view through the observation window, a small planet, mostly covered in oceans with several large islands. The scanners showed settlements on the largest island, modest in size but well established. The Edent Shuttle descended through clouds, revealing forests and fields below. The settlement itself was a collection of buildings that blended with the natural landscape rather than dominating it. Curved structures that reminded Megan of images she'd seen of the Lenari homeworld. They landed on a simple pad at the edge of the settlement. A small group waited for them. As they exited the shuttle, Zara froze, her eyes fixed on one figure, a woman with the unmistakable blue skin of a pure Lenari. Her features, similar enough to Zara's that the relation was clear, Mother Zara whispered, though it was impossible. The woman was too young. The Lenari woman stepped forward, studying Zara with silvery eyes similar to her own. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice having the same musical quality as Zara's. "I knew your mother. She was my cousin." Zara trembled with emotion. "You knew her?" "My family." Lyra nodded. "We will share memories," she promised. "But first, welcome to Harmony. Both of you." She included Megan in her gesture. They were led into the settlement. The buildings were even more beautiful up close, materials that seemed to capture and reflect light in unusual ways. The design reminiscent of the crystal cities Zara had described to Megan. Inside, they found a community of about 200 people. Some were clearly Lenari with blue skin and silver eyes. Others appeared human but with subtle differences. The descendants Grace had spoken of, mixed heritage children of both worlds. "We began arriving here 5 years ago," Lyra explained as they walked. "Several ships escaped the destruction. We scattered for safety, then gradually found each other." "How did you stay hidden from the Vorax?" Zara asked the question that had plagued her. "We learned to mask our energy signatures," Lyra said. "A technique developed by necessity. The younger generations can maintain it almost effortlessly." She gestured to a group of children playing nearby, some blue-skinned, some appearing human, but all clearly comfortable with each other. They were shown to a small house prepared for their arrival. Simple but beautiful, with large windows overlooking the forest. The community would gather that evening to officially welcome them. Lyra explained. Time for them to rest and adjust. When they were alone, Megan watched as Zara moved through the space, touching objects, examining everything, her emotions clear on her face. Wonder, relief, belonging. "Are you happy?" Megan asked softly. Zara turned to her, tears in her silver eyes. "Yes," she said, "but also afraid." "Of what?" "That this is a dream." Zara admitted, "that I will wake and be alone again." Megan took her hands. "You are not alone," she promised. "And this is real. Your people survived. They are here." That evening they joined the community in a central, gathering space. A large circular area with a fire pit at its center. The Lenari and their descendants sat together, forming a ring. Food was shared. Songs were sung in a language Megan did not understand but found hauntingly beautiful. Lyra stood and formally introduced Zara, telling the story of her escape and journey. Many had heard parts of it through the networks that connected the scattered survivors, but hearing it directly brought tears to many eyes. Then, in a moment that took Megan's breath away, the Lenari began to glow. Not just their skin, but what seemed like their entire being. Blue light spread from person to person, connecting them in a web of energy. The descendants glowed too, though less brightly. The joining Zara whispered to Megan. The sharing of minds. The glow reached them. Zara took Megan's hand, drawing her into the circle. The sensation was unlike anything Megan had experienced before. More powerful than her private connections with Zara. This was dozens of minds touching, hers gently, respectfully. She felt their collective history, their joy at finding another survivor, their gratitude to her for protecting Zara, their acceptance of her as part of their community, not despite being human, but because of it. The Lenari had always valued diversity, seeing it as strength. When the glow faded, Megan understood something fundamental. The Lenari were changed by their experiences, but their essence remained. They had adapted, survived, evolved, but they were still the people Zara had mourned. In the days that followed, they learned more about the colony. It was self-sufficient with advanced agriculture and technology. much of it based on Lenari knowledge adapted to their new home. They maintained minimal contact with other human settlements, protecting their privacy while trading for necessary supplies. Captain Willis and Olivia arrived 2 weeks later, bringing news from Earth. Dr. Monroe had secured official protection for the colony. Harmony was now recognized as a sovereign territory. The story of the Lenari survival had captured human imagination, becoming a symbol of hope and resilience. The Vorax remained a threat, but a diminished one. Human military vessels patrolled the sector. The hunters would find this prey well defended should they ever return. Zara and Megan made their decision to stay. This would be their home. Megan would serve as a liaison with Earth, helping build bridges between humans and Lenari. Zara would work with the community, helping preserve Lenari knowledge and culture for future generations. They were given a house at the edge of the settlement where forest met the community. Designed in Lenari style but with elements of Earth homes, a perfect blend like their relationship. One evening, as they sat watching twin moons rise over the ocean, Megan asked about the future. "Will your people survive?" Zara considered this. "We are few," she admitted, "but we adapt. We learn. We grow. Our descendants carry our legacy, even if they appear human." She took Megan's hand, the familiar blue glow passing between them. "And perhaps someday we will have descendants of our own." Megan looked surprised. "How Lyra has been researching," Zara explained. "Our scientists believe Lenari genetics could be passed to a child through our bonding abilities. Our connection affects cells at a fundamental level, a child with both their natures." The idea filled Megan with wonder. That night, as they lay together, the blue glow of Zara's skin illuminating their bedroom, Megan reflected on their journey. From a chance meeting in a cargo bay to finding a lost civilization. From Zara believing she was the last of her kind to discovering a new future for her people. "I was so afraid when I first saw you," Zara whispered. "Reading Megan's thoughts through their bond, I thought you would turn me in. Instead, I fell in love with you," Megan replied. "The last Lenari who wasn't the last." After all, smiled, her silver eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Perhaps that is how all great stories begin," she said. "With fear that turns to courage, with loneliness that finds connection, with endings that become beginnings." Outside their window, the settlement glowed softly with Lenari light, a beacon in the darkness of space. A reminder that even in a vast and sometimes hostile universe, hope survives, love endures, and no one is truly the last of their kind as long as they are remembered.